Secretary Castro, in considering your plan to address gun violence, had you considered the possibility of having gun owners take out liability insurance on each gun that they own?
You know, that's been suggested, and I think that that's worth considering. That's not in our plan right now, but you know, I know that some communities across the United States have suggested that they're going to pursue that. I certainly believe that it's an idea that's worth testing out, and you know, if they do pursue it, I look forward to seeing how that works. I think that it's an idea that's worthy of consideration. Not in our plan, but I see it as something that's worthy of consideration.
Secretary Castro, can we get your reaction to the situation in Philadelphia, the shooting unfolding there?
Our heart goes out to the police officers who were injured and to their family members and to the entire city of Philadelphia. Our police officers do dangerous work, and you know, we wish them well and Godspeed and hope that they're able to recover soon and that the perpetrator is brought to justice. And so we're thinking about Philadelphia tonight.
Secretary Castro, and there you mentioned that unless lawmakers act, events like Dayton and El Paso are going to continue to happen, and the situation in Philadelphia still seems to be ongoing. What's it going to take? How much more pressure? How many more of these events until people in Congress and people in Washington, D.C. act?
There is a movement of everyday Americans that are fed up with the inaction of Congress, and especially Republicans in Congress, because it's mostly Republicans that are standing in the way of common sense gun safety legislation. There's a growing movement of people who are progressive and conservative, but see that we need to do something to make sure that our families are safe from gun violence. And unfortunately, our politicians, a lot of them, like Mitch McConnell and other Republicans, have not had the spine to stand up to the NRA and to do things like universal background checks that 90% of Americans agree with, and to do things like take those AR-15s off the street. It is time to do that, and the pressure on these politicians that won't go for gun safety is only going to get stronger and stronger and stronger as we have more of these incidents.
Secretary, Governor Steve Bullock recently accused Tom Steyer of buying the 1,300,000 donors necessary to meet the donor threshold for the debate stage. Is Steyer buying his way onto the debate stage?
I'm just focused on trying to make sure that I get onto the September debate stage, and so, you know, I'll let other candidates have their conversation about that. Right now, I'm focused on getting the last poll that I need to make it onto the September debate stage, and what I do know is that for our campaign, we've been very pleased to have a lot of small dollar donors. Even though I didn't raise anywhere near the most amount of money in the last quarter, I had one of the highest percentage of small dollar donors, which I'm very proud of.
What is your response to Iowa Representative Steve King's comments earlier this morning about rape and incest?
Steve King doesn't belong in Congress. He is a disgrace. He has shown over and over again that he has bigoted views, he has bizarre views like what he talked about today regarding rape and incest. He should not be a policymaker in this country. And I feel bad for the people of Iowa, as somebody who's from Texas, that Steve King is the Iowa politician that most people outside of Iowa know is from Iowa, because of how often he makes these crazy statements and bigoted statements. That's unfortunate, because as I've come to know more of the people of Iowa, I know that Steve King's bigotry and his bizarreness does not reflect the people of Iowa. So I hope that J.D. Scholten will beat him in November of 2020, if he's not defeated already in a primary.
There are a lot of Democrats in the race who are calling on Steve King to resign. If he resigns, does J.D. Scholten have a chance at beating the Republican challenger in that district?
I believe so. I believe that J.D. Scholten has a good amount of crossover support. He's from the district, grew up there, came back home there. He has traveled throughout the district, and I think appeals to people that may have been Republican, but under Donald Trump, they're thinking twice about voting Republican. So whether Steve King is J.D.'s opponent or not, I'm confident that J.D. has a good shot, a decent shot, of becoming the next congressman from that district. And Why not? I mean, Democrats already have 3 out of the 4 congressional seats. I believe that they can get that 4th one.
Are you comfortable with calling on Steve King to resign?
Yeah, I've said that. I think I said that a while ago. I mean, Steve King is a disgrace. He has been so bigoted. He's been so bizarre. Nobody like him should serve in a position of public trust. Not only that, he can't be effective anymore because he was stripped of his committee assignments. So for his constituents, he can't do anything for them in Congress. He's got no power. He only embarrasses his constituents with his big mouth, and he should resign. He shouldn't be in Congress.
Secretary Castro, turning to another topic, I think you're in support of $15 an hour living wage and so on. I wonder, though, what steps would you take, or does your tax plan include a way of preventing the kind of distortion in wealth that we currently have, so that we don't have this
Yeah.
huge wealth at the top, and we level it out?
Well, I wish it was tomorrow morning so that I could go over it in full. But yes, tomorrow we're rolling out a plan to make sure that all families in the United States can prosper. And it'll include a policy proposal to address the wealth inequality in our country so that we don't continue to grow into 2 tiers in this United States of people that have and people that don't. And so I'd love to talk more tomorrow, and we'll release that plan that will have all the details of how we would accomplish that. Yeah, we're going to roll it out in the morning. All right, y'all?
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Secretary.
Thank you.
Y'all need this.
Yeah, we can grab those mics off you now.